Modern philosophy. Modern philosophy is an attempt of reorienting ourselves to living in a new mental, emotional, and psychological landscape. It introduces us to life's ultimate question but leaves us to find our own answers rather than inheriting them with little reflection from the family and culture into which are born. Modern philosophy was practiced in Western Europe and North America between the 17th and early 20th centuries. René Descartes, 1596 to 1650. René Descartes is the father of modern philosophy. His title was justified due both to his break with traditional scholastic Aristotelian philosophy prevalent at his time and to his development and promotion of the new mechanistic science. Characteristics of modern philosophy. It centers on the problem of consciousness or subjectivity. A decalization of epistemological concept of critique. Epistemological concept of critique means the branch of philosophy which studies the relationship between acquisition of knowledge and the knowledge thus acquired. Theological concept of historical progress or mankind. Theological concept means theory of morality that derives duty or moral obligation from what is good or desirable as an end to be achieved.
Educational philosophies. First is the perennialism. For perennialists, aim of education is to ensure that the students acquire understanding about the great ideas of Western civilization. These ideas have the potential for solving problems in any era. The focus is to teach ideas that are everlasting, to seek enduring truths which are constant, not changing as natural and human worlds as their most essential level do not change. In simple words, it is a teacher-centered educational philosophy that focuses on everlasting ideas and universal truths, and teaches students to think rationally and develop minds that can think critically. The basic principles of perennialism are: education should be same for everyone and everywhere, and focuses on the development of rational powers of mind. The founder is Thomas Aquinas. The role of teacher are: teaches concept and focuses on knowledge and teaching of knowledge, and aim at teaching students way of thinking that will secure individual freedoms, human rights, and responsibilities through the nature. The role of students are: develop and use virtues in life decision and acquire knowledge, and the subject focus are: everlasting ideas and universal truths. Second is progressivism. Progressivists believe that education should focus on the whole child rather than on the content or the teacher. This educational philosophy stresses that students should test ideas by active experimentation. Learning is rooted in the questions of learners that arise through experiencing the world. It is active, not passive. The learner is a problem solver and thinker who makes meaning through his or her individual experiences in the physical and cultural. When we say progressivism, it is a learner-centered educational philosophy, or it focuses on the social progress, and it teaches students to be a good citizen as well as a good learners. The basic principles of progressivism are: emphasis on learning by doing hands-on projects, expeditionary learning, and experiential learning. Integrated curriculum focus on thematic units, integration of entrepreneurship into education, strong emphasis on problem solving and critical thinking, and group work and development of social skills. The founder is John Dewey. The role of the teachers are: they create opportunities for their students to actively learn, making school interesting and useful by planning lessons that provoke curiosity and determines. The role of the students are: to be an active learner as opposed to a recipient of information, to be an individual thinker and critical thinker. And the subject focus are: real world, problem solving, and individual development. And last, the humanism. Humanism is a philosophical stance that emphasizes the value and agency of human beings, individually and collectivity. The meaning of the term humanism has fluctuated according to the successive intellectual movements which have been identified with it. However, humanism refers to a perspective that affirms some notion of human freedom and progress. It views humanity as responsible for the promotion and development of individuals, exposes the equal inherent dignity of human being, and emphasizes concerns for humans in relation to the world. This want to learn, the goal of education should be foster students' desire to learn and teach them how to learn. Humanistic educators believe that grades are irrelevant and that only self-evaluation is meaningful. Humanistic educators are opposed to objective tests and believe that both feelings and knowledge are important to learning process. The founder, Francesco Petrarca, is the founder of humanism, and in 16th century, Pietro Bembo created a model for the modern Italian language based on Petrarca's work. The role of teacher are to focus on helping students develop learning skills and provide motivation and exciting activities to help students feel engaged about learning. The role of student is to be responsible for learning choices. So, helping them understand the best way to learn is the key for their success. And the subject focus are promotion and development of individuals, exposes the equal inherent dignity of all human beings, and emphasizes a concern for humans in relation to the world.
Modern Western philosophy refers to philosophical thinking in the Western or Occidental world, beginning with ancient Greece and Rome, extending through Central and Western Europe and since Columbus the Americas, as opposed to Eastern or Oriental philosophies comprising Indian, Chinese, Persian, Japanese, and Korean. Philosophies under modern Western are Renaissance philosophy, rationalism, empiricism, political philosophy, idealism, existentialism, existential philosophers, phenomenology, pragmatism, and analytic philosophy. Another example of modern philosophies is modern Asian philosophy. Eastern philosophy or Asian philosophy includes the various philosophies that originated in East and South Asia, including Chinese philosophy, Indian philosophy, Japanese philosophy, Korean philosophy, and Vietnamese philosophy. All of these are dominant in East, South, and Southeast. Philosophies under modern Asia are New Confucianism, Maoism, Buddhist modernism, Kyoto School, and Neo-Vedanta. Some modern philosophers: William Henry Chamberlain Jr., 1870-1921. He is American Mormon philosopher, theologian, and educator. His teaching and writings work to reconcile Mormonism with the theory of evolution. George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, 1770 to 1831. He was the last of the great philosophical system builders of modern time. Notable works: The Philosophy of Right or The Philosophy of Law, 1821. The Philosophy of Right, 1821. In Hegel's works on politics and history, the human mind objectifies itself in its endeavor to find an object identical with itself. The subject of study are rationalism, absolute idealism, dialectic, absolute spirit, and monism. Nicholas Malebranche, 1638 to 1715, the youngest child of the secretary to King Louis III. Notable works: Entrescience, sur la métaphysique et sur la religion, and The Search After the Truth. The Search After the Truth is his first, longest, and most important work. This volume also presents the elucidations which accompanied its third edition, the result of comments that Malebranche solicited on the original work and an important repository of his theories of ideas and causation. It has been said, his Entretien sur la métaphysique et sur la religion, or the Dialogues of Metaphysics and the Religion in 1688, is a series of 14 dialogues that has been called the best introduction to his system. Immanuel Kant, 1724 to 1804, was one of the foremost thinkers of the Enlightenment and arguably one of the greatest philosophers of all time. He was a German philosopher and one of the central Enlightenment thinkers. The notable works of Immanuel Kant are the Critique of Judgment, Critique of Practical Reason, and and The Critic of Pure Reason. Critic of Judgment 1790 is one of the most original and instructive of all of Kant's writings, was not foreseen in his original conception of the critical philosophy. Critic of Practical Reason 1788. The result of this intention is the standard source book for his ethical doctrines. Critic of Pure Reason 1781 to 1787. This work presented a sophisticated idealist theory that viewed geometry as a description of the structure of spatial intuition. George Berkeley 1685 to 1753. Anglo-Irish Anglican bishop, philosopher, and scientist. He is an empiricist and idealist philosophy. He known as Bishop Berkeley was an Anglo-Irish philosopher whose primary achievement was the advancement of a theory he called the immaterialism. Berkeley is also known for his critique of abstraction, an important premise in his argument for immaterialism. Berkeley is best known for his early works on vision. It is an essay toward a new theory of vision in 1709, a treatise concerning the principles of human knowledge in 1710, three dialogues between Hylas and Philip